Hello everybody, welcome to the Mother Famicom Any speedrunning guide. This category is either the dumbest or the coolest, depending on how you look at it. No, it is pretty complicated because it has the most manipulation of any of the categories on the Famicom version. So there's a lot to go over, and especially later on in the run, there's a lot of different backups for manipulation that you're required to do if you don't get the right stats. But there's so many variables, and I haven't even done half of them, that I won't cover them, but I do have those covered in a text guide. What I will do though is I'll show you how to set up perfect stats, and then I'll show you the manipulation you need to do when you have those perfect stats. So basically we're just gonna try to make sure we always get them so we don't have to worry about backups, but if you do want to focus on the backups, they're there in the text guide. But anyway, so to get started here, this category, it does use Japanese timing, so it's starting from power on, so timing will be when you reset there. That's also very important to getting straight into the first manipulation for setting up your stats. What you want to do is when you reset, you want to mash through as fast as possible and name everybody as fast as possible. One thing right before I get into that is I will mention I'm going to be using save states for the purpose of demonstrating this better without needing to reset as much, because something went wrong. However, I can't reasonably save state due to my button binding on my EverDrive messing with manipulation later on, but hopefully I'll just get it right anyway. So, to start, gonna go on now. We're gonna hit this and choose the one to the left right afterwards because that is the fast text speed. Gonna mash through this. It doesn't speed up the text or anything, but you do have to hit something at the end of the line here to get it started. So the first thing you're gonna see me do after the game starts is I'm gonna walk straight to the door, and when I fight the lamp, I'm trying to try to set it up so that the lamp goes down in 2 turns. And to do that, I'm gonna wait on it for a second. You'll see the cursor flash, and then hopefully that'll get it right. And if that goes right, then it should set us up further for the doll in the next room. So I'm going to move the cursor over to the right. And hopefully this works. Okay, so far it doesn't look good because I hit it for 2. You need to hit it for 3 twice in order to get it. But sometimes this can go a little slow and you'll still get the manipulation needed for the doll, but I'm feeling more doubtful with the fact that I didn't get this to begin with. Okay, yeah, I don't even know what's happening anymore. It's hard to call. Let's see. Yeah, okay, I didn't get the manipulation. So, I'm gonna restart it here, but I do want to note that should you get the right manipulation off the bat there with the doll off the lamp. Okay, here's how it's gonna work. When you enter the room with the doll, if it walks towards you, you want to walk up to it, but then stop, and then encounter it right afterwards, and then you're gonna select auto immediately. If the doll stays perfectly still, you're gonna walk into it, get into battle, and wait with the cursor on auto for a second before doing it. And if the doll's first attack is a smash, then you know the manip is gonna work. So basically that's what we're looking for, so I just wanted to get that out of the way before I try it again. And hopefully I'll get it this time. So basically how that's gonna work after that is when you start the level up, you're just going to hold A, and by holding A, the RNG book will always flow along with when it updates your stats consistently every time, so that way there's no room for error. And we're gonna want all of our stats to basically increase by 3, except for a few of them. There's gonna be 3, 3, 3, 2, 9, 7 or something like that, and we'll just see that. If it happens, I'll recognize it. But I'm gonna hope that this lamp goes right. So I'm gonna move over. Oh my gosh, I'm still not getting it. And I got it earlier when I practiced. I don't know what's up right now though. This is just a little annoying, and this part can be a little inconsistent. But like I said, if you get like different stats or whatever at the start, there's backups later on for the manip, but I really don't want to focus on those. I want to focus on what you would get normally. So anyways, I'm going to assume this is normal, and I'm going to move over to the right, and I'm going to wait on the cursor right there. But I still didn't get it. Okay, yeah, this is really annoying. I apologize. I'm trying to think about what I could reasonably do for this right now. Because this is it's a very important part. But yeah, what I usually have been doing the last few times I ran this category is I just would reset if I didn't get the perfect manip at the start. Hopefully I'll get something good from the lamp. Okay, 3 damage. 3 damage? Okay, good, I got it. This should work. Alright, that's not normal. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying. If the doll starts moving up, it's kind of screwed up. Oh gosh. So hold on, in this case, if it comes towards me, I'm gonna wait and then touch it. And now I'm gonna select auto immediately. Oh my gosh. So as you can tell, like this manip is, it works, trust me, it's just really dumb. Sometimes even if you mess it all up, you still might get the right stats anyway. Like, it doesn't make sense sometimes. Okay, so basically, just assume that what I said about the movements, they worked out well. And you got the doll to smash you on the first turn like that. This should get me the right manipulation, like for the stats at the end. And if it does, I'm just gonna continue. And I do apologize for how sloppy that was, because you'll want to reset a lot if you don't get it right. But yeah, it's really annoying. So I'm just gonna hold A here. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm gonna look at these stats. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 9, 3. Okay, yeah, that was right. Opening this menu, you'll have a max 39 HP and a max 11 psi points. Alright, that's good. Okay, finally we can move on from here. The next thing you do is you ignore your sister entirely, you don't talk to her. Pick up the phone. Go outside, don't talk to the dog, we're just going straight to town. We're skipping a lot of things. If you get into any encounters, just try to run. Alright, don't guard like me. It's the most annoying thing when you do that. Alright. I'm gonna make a state here. Try to continue on. Alright, until I get to this tree down here, I'm safe, but now I might find an encounter. Hopefully not. Oh my gosh. Alright. Sometimes you'll get no encounter, sometimes you might get a lot. It kind of sucks, but hopefully it'll go better. Going down on this path. Now, the next part is going to be graveyard manipulation, and it's something I've covered in my other tutorials, if you've looked at those, but if you haven't, I guess I could go ahead and try to explain it now anyway, but there's still a lot of resources on it just in case if this doesn't explain it well enough. I don't think I've always explained it exactly the same way every time. But anyway, what we're gonna do here, I went to the ATM, I got $50, that's all we have. Gonna buy 1 bread here. Gonna buy 3 orange juices for safety. And then the other 5 is what we're gonna use to save the game at the phone. Now, if you got a little hurt on the way here from town or whatever, if you just want to put your health up now, you can go ahead and use one of the orange juices. That's usually what I do. I use at least 1 or 2 before I go to the graveyard. But yeah. Alright. So now this part, I'm gonna pick up the phone. After like the first 3 numbers you see, that one specifically, the third one, 19, when you see that question there, you're gonna hit yes, and then you can reset immediately after you hit yes, and that's basically like the prompt for saving the game. Now, to do the manip here for the graveyard, well, first off, I'm gonna explain how the RNG works overall. So, anytime you're in a menu in this game, the RNG will advance frame by frame, and that includes the file select screen right after this screen. So a lot of the manipulation in this will rely on that being set up properly, and to consistently get into the game, we're just going to hold A right after you hit start. So just hold A and it'll get you in there with the same RNG seed. Now, for this part, you need to exit this building at with the exact same movement every time, because the NPCs are the other things that will influence RNG. So if you see them move in this pattern, you should be good so far. You go this way, go down. There's one last NPC to pass by right there, and you should be good. Now here's the other thing. Right now I'm entering an encounter zone, and every time you take a step, oh, look at that, I took a misstep. Well, anyway, I'm just gonna explain it now. Every time you take a step in the encounter zone, the RNG will advance by like 1 or 2 or something like that. And the game will look at that to determine when to give you a battle on a tile. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna open a menu. We're gonna open the menu up before we get into a battle on a certain tile, and basically that's gonna shuffle around the RNG because the RNG is advancing in the menus, and then it'll skip the encounter. But the complicated thing to that is that well, first off, we're gonna hold down B specifically because it'll open up this menu, and as long as you hold it down, it'll always close consistently, so there's no room for human error on that, so you're not gonna be able to mess it up. And the confusing thing is the fact that whenever Nintendo takes a step, the RNG for that step he takes in the encounter zone, it'll update after he fully walks onto the next tile, but you can open the menu before he does so, therefore you can open the menu before it advances from the previous tile, and this is sounding a little confusing, but the very first 2 times we're going to actually open a menu for this, we need to do it early before he fully steps onto the tile, but you'll see that when I redo this, because I'm just going to go ahead and try that again. If you step out of line, or take an extra step, the appropriate thing to do is to open the menu like 1 tile early from where you're supposed to do it, but I don't really like it when I get stuck behind something, because then I have to take a lot of extra steps, and I'm not really trying to calculate all that in my head. This throws me off from what I'm used to doing, which is generally getting it right. So I'm going to try that again. Go down. I do this. and hopefully I'll get down there right. So the way I walk is very specific and it's very important, so just try to mimic it. This right here, first step of this bridge, I opened it up early, so that was the first one. Over here, it is very important how you cross over. I'm gonna hold down and right here, because otherwise you might take an extra step and that'll throw off the encounter spots. So the next one is here, top of this tree. Now the rest of them you don't have to open the menu right away, so you can actually stop and wait for a second. So the next one will be right here, next to this grass to the left of us. I'm gonna open it now. Head over to the right. Be careful not to get stuck like down in that gap there. Down in the right here. This way. And now we're in a safety zone, so none of our steps are counting for this. So that's kind of good. It gives us some relief. The next one, if I'm doing it right, it should be at the end of this corner. That's without any extra steps. So, okay, good. Open the menu here. Go down. Stop. Go right. Stop by this tree. Open it again. Go right. Go up here. Stop next to this tombstone. Open it again. And go in here. Hello there. In this room, we're gonna open it like right around here. You might like get into an encounter with a ghost or whatever. But anyway, that's the last of the graveyard manipulation. Since the coffins in this room they're treated as NPCs since they all move. And also we're gonna get Pippi here, who's also an NPC. We can't manipulate it any further. So getting out of the graveyard is entirely luck based, so hopefully that goes well. Anyways, we're gonna check and talk to Pippi. And we're gonna answer the one on the right, no. And then we're gonna answer the one on the left. Okay, and then she's gonna take us to the door, so we find. Now on the way out, it doesn't really matter when you do this, as long as you do it before you take Pippi all the way back. But you need to go into your menu, select the bread, and then give it to her. And you need to make sure that she uses it, because that's how you set up the breadcrumb glitch. If Nintendo uses it at any point beforehand, then it's not going to work. So, on the way out, I'm just going to try to open the menu like randomly to avoid encounters as best as I can. But sometimes it doesn't always work out the best, and if you get into an encounter, then you know, hopefully you don't get screwed up too much. The zombies are definitely the most menacing, but sometimes you'll be able to run pretty well, or just dodge them. Pippi is pretty fast sometimes, I don't know why. I mean, well, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so exiting the graveyard can sometimes be the worst part, but it's not the only thing to worry about in this run now, fortunately. But we'll make it out. Anyways, while I'm doing this, there's not really much going on here. How are you, Earthbound fan? And as I said before, this is a safety zone, so you don't have to worry about opening the menu a ton here. And the safety zone ends right about here. So I'm okay. I've been really anxious about making this guide, because this category is really complicated. It's the shortest category, but it's really complicated, but it's also really cool. But then it's also really dumb. It's a lot of things. And there's just a lot to go over, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna mess it up. Which I already messed up a lot at the start, but it's fine. If people want to run this, they can go ahead and try to use this. Hopefully it'll help. Now we're just gonna go ahead and give Pippi back. Although I didn't use my bread yet with her, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I usually use it up here, but like I said, it doesn't really matter where you give it to her or where she uses it, as long as that happens. So. Alright, and now he gave us $100, so we're gonna use that to buy more bread. Oh, the chat display I have up. Yeah, it's a really cool thing this one guy made. You can get it to mimic a lot of games and their fonts and text boxes. It's really nice. And I'll tell you about that later if you were interested in that. But anyway, so we're gonna buy 3 breads. Let's see. Okay. If you still had an extra orange juice, you'd want to use it before you go back to Pippi, so your inventory, like, has room for the breadcrumbs she has. But yeah, honestly, it doesn't matter if you use them now or not. Like, you can totally just throw them away or whatever. You're just gonna waste space in the inventory. But honestly, no, wait. Better idea. Don't discard them yet if you still have them, because I just thought about it. When you're going back into near your home up here in the encounter zone, sometimes a crow can encounter you. And if it tries to steal from you and it steals one of your breads, then that's really awful. You'll have to reset. So just hold on to it until you get to this point and then use them. That's a smarter idea. Anyway, we're gonna talk to Pippi, we're gonna get the crumbs, and now we're gonna use them. And now we're out of bounds. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, this game, personally, for me, is really fun, casually. It's my favorite game. But I figured at some point I decided to learn it. Now out here, you do want to follow this specific path. Sometimes it's a little altered and different, and I don't entirely know what causes that. I think it's the amount of time you have already been playing it for, or something like that. But this path is generally the same every time. Generally, sometimes I'll get like caught in something around here. Yeah, it's a little confusing. Just try to, oh my gosh, go down. As long as you find this really big black box for whatever reason, where there's like an unloaded graphic or something, as long as you find that, you're in the right spot. Just keep going down. This doghouse here is also a good symbol of you're going in the right direction, so just keep going down. And now we're going to be walking down into nothing for about 3 minutes or so, until we find some more scenery. But until then, like, as long as you follow that stuff, you're in the right area. And how did this happen? The way the glitch worked is that when you set down breadcrumbs, they're supposed to bring you back to wherever you place them. However, Ninten, from the start of the game onwards, Ninten never used any breadcrumbs, so he didn't have any place to return to if he uses them. And Pippi had used the breadcrumbs, but she left your party. So because she left your party, they didn't have a position assigned to them anymore, and because of that, the game gave them a default position, and the default position is out of bounds. So when you get them back with Ninten and use them, it puts you out here. However, they realized that. I don't know how they realized that, but they did, and they fixed it on all other versions of the game. Or so you would think. It wasn't until, like, apparently some years ago somebody found out you could do this on the GBA version through an entirely different method. And that wasn't... But that information apparently was never spread around much until it was rediscovered by me and somebody else, but that's beyond the point. I'll talk about that an entirely different time. Anyways, once you get down here, you're going to walk to the left and go to the side of these. And now here's the important part. We're going to start counting the tufts of grass that we walk past from this point on. So starting at the next one, so this is going to be 1, 2, and so on. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And on the 13th one, we're going to go down left about like 2 rows. So hold on, I might have actually gone too far. It's either here, I'm pretty sure, because you're really close to it, so I think it's on this one. And then we're gonna use some different bread. We're gonna set it and then use the crumbs, and okay. So you could have walked a little more over before using it, but as long as you're in this area, you'll be able to get to Queen Mary here. And what this does is it triggers the end, so we don't have to get any melodies now, and it's going to set up the next part. So take out another bread and use it right away, and start walking around. As you can see, the way to the end is blocked off, so we could go fight the boss, but we're just level 2, so we're not able to fight Gyiyg right now. So the goal is to die. Make sure that you press A on the game over screen. Alright, so now we're back here. We're gonna save the game, and then we're gonna reset it again to do manipulation. And here comes the even more complicated part of the run. So this is why I had us get perfect stats at the beginning on the doll, because without them, this next part gets really complicated. It still is slightly complicated, and I'm hoping I don't screw it up because I can't really, like I said, I can't really demonstrate in between. Well, I kind of can, but okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and get to it. So we're gonna save. So when you see the question, yes, okay, hit it, reset. Press start, hold A the whole time, you know, so it starts up again. And now, try to immediately open your, like, inventory menu and use the crumbs, and if you did it successfully, you should encounter 4 starmen, so... You kind of have to be quick there because the RNG is running, and honestly, I don't even know how that works, because it seems a little lenient. Sometimes you will, you'll just get starmen anyway, and other times you'll get a different enemy, but, so now I need to explain how buffering is going to work in these fights, and I probably will do that before I get into the encounter, even if I don't get a Starman encounter. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to hold down both A and B at the same time. And in a battle, if you hold down B, all it's going to do is it's going to keep backing out, even if you didn't click on anything, it's going to keep backing out and it's going to bring up the menu again and again and again until you stop holding B. And this is important because you can hold B a certain amount of times, and because of the, like I said, RNG advances in every menu, even the battle menus, of course. The amount of times that you hold B for will help advance the RNG far enough to manipulate what happens in the battle. Now I'm saying to hold both A and B because you need to hold A so that the game automatically selects fight for you. If you just hold B and then try to press A right after, there's a chance you will just put in A by yourself, which will screw up the pacing. So just hold A and B together until you need to stop holding B, and then just let go of B and hold A only. So that's the way this is going to work. After the turn starts, you don't need to hold anything until it starts back up on the next turn, and then you can just continue with holding A and B. So that's how this is going to work. Hopefully that explanation made sense before I got to it. So let's try to get the right encounter if I got it. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm getting 4 starmen. I'm holding A and B right now, and I need to hold A and B for 5 backouts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I just hold A. Now they're all gonna do whatever. They're gonna start killing themselves though, because that's what this is doing. So now I'm gonna hold A and B for 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And they're just gonna keep using PK Beam Gamma. And it's going to keep reflecting, and they're all going to die. So now I'm going to hold A and B for 1 turn, or 1 back out. So, 1, okay. And that's it. Now, at this point, we're going to level up, and the level up manipulation gets a little confusing, but for this battle, we're just going to hold A the whole time. We're not going to let go of A whatsoever. If you have the right stats, then you don't have to worry about anything. This should go right. If you have the wrong stats, then you gotta do the backups for fixing that. To tell if you have the right stats, your HP and PSI will say they went up a total of 15 times, and you'll earn 3 PSI at the end of this. You'll also get a Psi Stone drop, so if it equals 15 times, and you get those 3 Psi and the Psi Stone, then you've done it right. You're on the right track for the proper setup. So hopefully that works out well. I have not been counting how many times it's gone up, but I'm going to hit level 11 by the time this is over, so I'll be able to see soon anyway. So I'm hoping this will go right. Seems like it went right. Alright, good. So that's the first one down. Next, before we do anything else, if you've done all that right, what you need to do is you need to press and hold B like how you would for those encounter manipulations back at the graveyard. And we're going to do that twice. So we're going to open it now. We're going to do it again. And that's going to set up the next manipulation, the next fight. So, alright. Alright, hopefully me safe stating right there isn't going to screw anything up. Especially because I'm about to reload it, because I'm an idiot. So, alright, let's do this. I'm going to hold A and B once. Okay, it seems like it's not going to screw anything up, so that's good. Next turn, I'm going to hold A and B 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. And now this level up is going to get a little complicated. So I'm going to save state here and hope that doesn't mess anything up. Now what we're going to do is for the entirety of this level up jingle, I'm going to hold A. But then on the next one, I'm going to mash A once the PP up appears. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and I'm gonna stop mashing. I'm gonna hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm gonna keep mashing right now. Alright, hopefully that worked right, because that was, it's pretty crazy how this works. It's basically, I'm just gonna try to describe it. I don't know why it works that way, but you mash A so that it speeds up when PP up appears, and then on the third level up and that fight, you mash A on the 5th stat, and I'm pretty sure I did that right, but I don't really know because I don't know. This is part of why this category gets a little dumb, because your stats can randomly increase because of this, even though the manipulations will still work. Like if I keep moving around, I should still be getting Starman, I would hope. But that is where it gets really dumb. Because I also don't ever recall getting a Psystone drop on that fight either. I've gotten it randomly. Sometimes like you're supposed to only have 1 Psystone if it works out properly, but now I have 2. I might even get 3, who knows. So hopefully the manip is still going to work for the rest of the fights. I'm going to continue on. Gonna get more Starmen. Hopefully. Inputs themselves don't really advance RNG, just having the menu open. So I'm gonna hold A and B twice. 1, 2. Gonna hold A and B 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gonna hold A and B twice. 1, 2. Now I'm gonna hold it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now on this one, we're going to do almost the same thing we did in the last one. We're going to hold A throughout the entirety of the first level up, but then on the 5th stat of the second one, we're going to mash. So let's pay attention to that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, mash. Alright. Now, there's only one more battle to go through, and hopefully after it's over, we'll have good stats, especially because the last battle is the most dumb, where it's like, When you level up at the end of this one, you just mash A throughout the whole thing, which means your stats can be entirely like inconsistent every time when they update. And I don't know why. Like, I wish there was a more consistent way of getting it. Like, I would just hold A through all of these if that just worked. But the end goal is that our, like, health is high enough to not die in the final battle. That's all that's really happening right now. I mean, that, and there's another thing going on, but I'll discuss that afterwards. Yeah, you can literally lose to Gyiyg if you don't even go first on the first turn against him, which is really annoying. But anyway, let's get into the final battle. I'm staying near the top here because we want to leave our bread like right outside the door, so that way we can just walk straight in there when we do need to go fight him. So I'm staying near the top. Gonna get to the final battle. Okay, good. I'm gonna hold A and B 12 times. This is the most you do it in one turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have messed that up before. I've lost my run on this part, which is really annoying. Okay. But now we're gonna do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then we're gonna do it 7 times. So, let's see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so this is good. I mean, I literally do have to count on myself sometimes, so that like I'm getting too tense trying to go through all of this. But anyway, right now I'm just mashing A and I'm hoping my stats increase appropriately, but I highly doubt it. It's like I said, my HP went up by 1. I would like to see it do like a 12 or something. But anyways, I'm gonna walk up here. I'm gonna drop this bread. I have two Psi stones, which I guess is okay, because we're gonna use the Psi stones to restore our Psi anyway. But let's see. Looking at my stats, yeah, I got terrible luck out of that. My health is at 104, which I personally don't think that's viable. I will probably end up dying. The best I've seen it is having your health at like 121 or something like that. Basically, like 20 more HP would help you survive so much better. So, because I got bad luck on that, there's like 2 things I'm gonna try to do for a backup. But secondly, the other thing that's important and the other thing that's really dumb about this category, aside from like having your health not increase appropriately, is that to fight Gyiyg, you need 2 things. You need your health to be high enough, and you need to have 2 PSI that are very important for that fight. And the way you learn PSI in this game is that once you hit a level needed for it, like say level 3, you'll get life up. I'll talk about that in a moment. So you'll get life up at level 3, but you have like a 1 1/3 chance or something like that to learn a Psi at the level you're supposed to get it. So say I hit level 3, out of any of the battles I get for it, I don't learn it. Then I eventually level up to level 4. At level 4 I learn healing. I have a 1 1/3 chance for learning either, I would say. So there's a chance you could learn healing before life up, even though you're supposed to learn life up first. Now here's one thing that sucks about this category. You need to know 2 different PSI out of however many your Nintendo learns at level 18, and you only learn so many out of like the battles that we had. So there's a chance that when you get to him, you might not have the right ones, is all I'm trying to say. So the first one that you'll need is on the second screen here, which I don't even have access to, so I already know I don't have it. So that's cool. So the one that I need right now is PSI Shield, so I don't have that. The other one I need is on this menu. It's this Psi right here. It's Quick Up. You must have PSI Shield and Quick Up. If you don't have them, you might need to spend extra time getting them, which, you know, sucks. But there's nothing you can do about that, and that's part about what makes this category terrible. But anyway, after you do all those manipulations and you do the grind, what you're supposed to do now is just die, of course. But that's not gonna kill us, but whatever. Just find something to kill you. I wish he would stop doing that attack. That's really dumb. Alright, that's closer to killing me. Now, you have, okay, make sure you don't like back out of this so you can continue. You have two options to choose from for how to go about dealing with your health if it's this low. And also on top of that, like getting the Psy that you need. You can either buy one more bread and then save, reset, go back on the mountain, and you can, as long as you save and reset and go back up to where you were with the bread, you can always repeat the very first Starman encounter you did. It'll be the exact same, but after that, the other fights will not be the same because your stats change differently. Because, you know, you're at level 18 now, we did that first fight at level 2, so that was very important, and it's part of what helped make the manip work. So in other words, yeah, you can do that and hope that your health will go up. There's a chance it won't, which is really annoying, especially if it's this low. The other thing you can do, your inventory here is going to be really, really limited. It's really tight. After you do this, after you get done grinding, you're supposed to throw away the Franklin badge, use up the Psy stones, and then toss them, and then get 6 medicines, because that's as much as you can carry. However, you might not be able to survive with just 6 medicines if you have your health this low. So what you might want to do, and it's also, like I said, it's really slow, you're going to need to withdraw money. Yeah, I mean, I guess 200 is probably fine. So, I really don't know how I want to go about doing this, because I could really do either. As I was gonna say, is withdraw money, go home, talk to your sister, and deposit your cash card so that you have more room for another medicine. And while you're in the town area, you can like try to encounter things out there. As long as you get into battles and finish them or run from them, you'll have a chance of learning the other side you need. So I really don't even know what order to demonstrate these things in, because so many things went wrong, and that just really sucks overall. But yeah, around this area is where you'll find encounters. If you just need encounters to get the Psy. I really wish I would get one though. No, that could have been it. I'm gonna toss this. If you are really good at recognizing what the Psy looks like, you don't have to look at it in a battle. Instead, you can look at it from the menu here. However, I don't even think I remember what it looks like. I think that's it right there. I might have it, but I'm gonna have to verify that from being in a battle. So I don't have it, never mind. I thought I had it. Yeah, if this kind of thing happens to you and you're really trying to get a good time, then I'm sorry, you just have to keep resetting, and that's legit. It does ruin this category. As much manip as we just used, you can't control these things. And it's so dumb. I think this is actually the lowest I've ever had my health after this. And the most I've ever had my health is at 118. Which I was like, wow, I can't believe I got that much. Like, that was pretty lucky. So let's see. I still don't have the Psy. I'm legit getting everything but the one I need. So this is, like I said, it's really unfortunate and annoying that you don't learn Psy you don't directly learn Psy when you're supposed to. This is the category where it's the most apparent issue. Like the rest of them, it can be a bothersome. Like, it can be annoying in those other categories, but it absolutely ruins this one. So let's see. No, I don't have it. I was gonna say I got the menu that it would be on. It would be below this one. But yeah, so I'll just go over the other backups in addition to this. I'm gonna go ahead and walk back home. And like I only have one PB for this category because it was so ridiculous to try to finish it because of dumb stuff like this. In my PB, I ended up going home to give my cash card back so I could get another white whipped cream. Okay, look, there it is. It's right there. It's this one. If you see this right here, this is PSI Shield. If you see this and you see this on this menu, then you know you are set. If your health is good enough, you are very lucky. If you want to play it risky, like, I mean, there's a high chance you won't have both. You'll go straight into the final fight and you'll just die for it, but at least you won't waste time trying to check for it. Or, like I said, you could try checking it from the menu outside of battles if you can read it well enough. But yeah, so that's what you would do to try to get it back if you don't have it. Now I'm going to... hopefully I have enough money on me. Medicines you need to buy. Those are pretty expensive, but they're like 200 each, so I don't think it's going to be that much. Take my cash card. I'm not going to throw away the Franklin badge yet because I'm going to do another... one more Starman fight I think would be good enough. Because at some point, if you... I mean, obviously it takes a lot of time to reset and then do the manipulation again if you needed more health. And to level up off the Starman would take quite a bit after, like, so many levels. Like, right now, I think I could level up from one more Starman fight, but then after that, I would need 2 more to get the next one, and obviously resetting 3 times in total to do this would waste so much time. But, yeah. So basically, this category needs a ton of luck on top of what you're already, like, manipulating, ironically. So I'm gonna buy this bread. I'm gonna save. Hold, start, I mean A. Oh wait, I messed up already, dang it. Because of, I wasn't used to where the bread was gonna be. I mean, that's where it would be anyway. No, it wouldn't be there if you, no, never mind, it would be. Gyiyg manip, I actually tried making something. You can't exactly, because, like, here's the thing. You can't manip Gyiyg in the sense, like, you can't make him not attack you. He's always going to attack you every turn. That's just what he's programmed to do. What I tried to do is manipulate it so that I go first every turn. So that I outspeed him. But, that's about the most I can try to do, and it's not consistent. Anyways, hopefully, this would get me a Starman counter. Okay, it is. Now, if you decide to do this, it's based on the first fight, so AB 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. AB 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. AB once. And I guess at this point, good luck. You can either just hold A or mash it. I don't know. Let's see, what kind of health increase can I get here? I got 6. That would still suck, honestly. There's nothing good I could probably get if my health is this low. I could like hope I get like a 5 or something. Or not a 5, but like a 12. That's the most I've ever seen it happen. 14 up, I would probably take that. Where's my health at? See, if I got that realistically, like legitimately, that would be really good. So, gonna go ahead and put the bread back down. See, now 14 up or something like that, you would hope would just happen normally and like the initial grind. I almost never get it. But yeah, if your health is at least this high, you should at least have a decent chance of surviving. Okay. Now, after all that happens, use the Psi Stone. You need at least 40 Psi points. So you don't really need too much of it. I would take too much personally. Then you can just discard them. Now, if you decided to go home, like I said, it's the third one here. You go ahead and buy 6 or 7. Wait. I didn't discard my Franklin badge, I don't need that anymore. So yeah, now you can hold 7. Just whatever you do, don't discard your crumbs, or you're screwed. I don't really like anime now. Well, kind of. It's just not an important question right now, I'm sorry. I like old anime, that's what I like. Also, I did not withdraw enough money for this. Whoa, that's my fault. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't even have enough to do this the normal way, like without safety. So if you're gonna do what I did, withdraw like $3,000 instead. Now I feel like an idiot because I have to go back and get my card. Realistically, I would waste so much time now. This run wouldn't finish until like around the 50-minute mark. But even with all that, I still think it's an impressive feat to say that, hey, you know, at least I know how to beat this game under an hour. I think if you get really, really lucky and you have good execution on most of your manipulation, like through the graveyard, this run could probably be under 30 minutes. Maybe that could be a stretch because the current record is like 31. And there's very few mistakes in it at all. And honestly, the only thing I think that could be better about it is the graveyard manip that I know I can do well. It's just, damn, I'd have to get lucky for that. But anyways, that's beyond the point. When I have to do stuff like this, there's no like chance of being anywhere near that time. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to like tell you what I think would be a proper Gyiyg manip. I still don't know because like I've done it inconsistently. But I see this run is worth running. The risk reward for it, I guess. I don't even know how I would describe it. The worth of it. Maybe it depends if you're really, really interested in doing the manipulation and doing this, but that's what I'm gonna tell you. The next category is for is the final category I have to teach after this one is something I made up. It mixes everything from pretty much all categories of the game, and so it has a lot of what I like from each. So, the last category, the one I made up, No Melodies, it has the Starman grind at the start, and then it goes through the rest of the game without, like, having to worry about that. Well, here's the thing about it. Because like you would think, if you mean that, like opening the menu the first time, you need to get up to the mountain for the Starman. See, if that didn't work in the first place, then you wouldn't even encounter Starman, which can happen sometimes. But if you encounter Starman, and the manip for them works well, then the manip for your like stat increases is just, it can vary. It's really dumb. Like it's consistent every time you hold it down. You hold down A, but then the moment you have to start mashing it to speed it up is when it gets inconsistent. And I honestly, it baffles me how that works, because if you just try to hold A when it's recommended to mash it, then not only will you get different stat increases, but you also will stop encountering Starman. And I have no clue, like, entirely why it's working out in that manner. I guess it's because the RNG is advancing fast enough to get you more Starman, but because of the advancements being based on your inputs, it gives you different stats, and I guess that can kind of make sense. But basically, and like as bad as this is going, I'm giving you all the rundown on how this should work. So if you wanna reset and grind for this a lot, then you could hopefully try to get a decent run out of it. I know Octo, he said that the only run that he got that let him both have enough health and that let him have enough health and the Psy that he needed was the one that he uploaded. And I have no clue how many attempts he put into it, because he never streamed any of it. But I could imagine he probably spent a few days, maybe a week or a month going for it, because he did it like right after All Melodies, and it came like a month after that, I believe. So if he played this for a month, hoping for the perfect luck, then like that's like ridiculous. I mean, that's how, you know, the grind works, especially when you're doing something like this. So if you want to deal with all the RNG nonsense, then go for it. So anyways, I'm gonna get more medicines. Assuming you didn't take this long within a reasonable time frame, and you wanted to be able to reset on Gyiyg, so that, you know, you don't have to reset and then redo whatever you needed to do, like your shopping. After you're done buying the medicines, save again. And then use your crumbs and go into the fight. Now, hopefully you'll go first. The fight itself is much harder than the other categories because your health is way lower. And you do need to go first. If you don't go first, you're taking too much damage from the first turn, and you're not going to win whatsoever. Even if you, like, try your best, it's just not going to work out for you. That's part of why I just save anyway, because I know there's a very low chance I'll go first. And the first thing you need to do is PSI Shield, so... I went first, I'm really lucky. There is a cave at that door, but it gets removed when you do the out of bounds at the very start of the run to go to Queen Mary. Queen Mary is the trigger for the door opening or not. So you don't even need melodies as long as you go to Queen Mary. But anyway, so if you get your wife, not your wife up, if you get your PSI Shield up on the first turn, then go over 2 menus and go use Quick Up. Alright, good. Now, it's weird to me how this works, because normally I think you would have to use Quick Up twice in like every other category, but in this one you only use it once, and somehow you still outspeed him most of the time. But at this point, after those two, just keep using life up here so that your health doesn't drop too low. Because if you have to start using the medicines now, you're not going to survive, so you just need to keep using life up until you can sing. Or until your health drops too low, and then you have to use one of the medicines. Oh, wait, my bad. You said, is there a cave at the door? I thought you said, is there like a rock or something blocking you off? The cave is only in the prototype and GBA versions. It was added. The cave is in the game. It's just lower down on the mountain in this version. You can walk into it with Eve in this version. Let's see, do we have Sing yet? We don't. I think this is safe to keep using it. As long as your health isn't like under 20, I think it's okay. Or as long as it's not in the single digits, it's okay. Like maybe now it would be cutting it to probably try it. But that's the kind of stuff I do personally. Like my health is probably too low. I could die for this. I could die for this if I get a bad roll. Somehow I got lucky enough. Like his health has been doing such little damage. I mean his attacks have been doing such little damage. I don't know why. I wonder if some of the stats that we manipulated from the start actually are responsible for not taking so much damage. But I legit don't know. But anyway, so use a medicine. Try really hard to not use them, because your health is way lower if you've done any of the other categories, and you're going to have to be healing way sooner, so you're going to have to hold out for longer. So basically what I'm saying is you're going to need to be singing when your health is ridiculously, like, at the most it could be where you could just die. Like, I'm talking 40 to 42 to 45. You're going to want to be singing then. If your health is, like, under 40, then you would probably want to heal. But yeah, now all you have to do is sing 11 times, and you should be able to win if you don't die. I don't know why, he's legit. I think he's only been doing 29 damage. I don't think I've ever paid attention to this before, but I'm not familiar with this in other categories. So this is just, I don't know, a lot of this category fascinates me. I think it's really cool. It's really cool, but it's really dumb, like I've been saying. Also, these damage rolls might not be lucky enough for me to even finish. Like I said, I'm hoping to get out like 3 sings in one turn on most of them, and I'm having to heal every 2. Which, I mean, that's how it normally works in the other categories, but I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Like, there's just so much going on. I only speedrun this one right now. I want to learn Earthbound when I can. Like, at some point I'm going to do it. But Mother 3 I'm probably not going to learn because Mother 3 is not a very good speed game, unlike the other two. It's not as good because its story is, like, it's way too story focused. So, like, just too much of the run is basically going through cutscenes is all I'm trying to say. It's not that enjoyable for most, I would say. So it's like probably, I don't know, I think it has less runners than this game does, even though almost nobody runs this game. Like, I think there's been more Japanese runners for this game than there have been for 3, but I'm not 100% positive. Okay, right now it would probably be like the riskiest time to try to use a Sing, but I would probably go for it personally. Although if I were reasonably counting how many times I had Sing, then like I could like count out how many medicines I need and not have to do that. Well, yeah, but how many of them have been like Japanese runners is the point I'm making, because like a lot more there's been more Japanese runners for this game overall in most of its categories, and on the Mother 3 leaderboards I mostly see English names. I mean, I guess I see a few Japanese names, I think. I haven't looked at it in a while. But on top of that, there's usually like a separate board for their times. Okay then, so that's part of my point. So like, this game probably has had a total of like more runners, unless there's a bunch of Japanese players who I have not like seen their names of because they're not on the boards. But yeah, I personally think Earthbound is a better speed game than this overall, but I still don't think this is the worst RPG speed game. Especially depending on what categories you pick, and if you do the GBA version, then it gets really different. Okay, there's just like one more to do. So, I definitely had room to spare. I didn't have to play so risky, but right now I'm just gonna sing, because I win. But, yeah. I really like how the screen kind of like pulses back and forth through the singing here. But anyway, yeah, so if you manage to be lucky enough to actually finish the run, even if it takes you a while because you have to like get the side you need, then I still think this is like an accomplishment to finish this category overall. Because if you want like a time lower than 37, then you're gonna need like really good luck. But yeah. Anyways, at this point, you need to wait, because like I said at the start, this category is Japanese, so it has this JRTA timing, so you gotta wait for the end of the credits, and you have to press A and or B at the end so that to be continued pops up. But yeah, like whenever you see a task of this category, or whenever you see like a run with really good luck, you look at it and you go, "Oh my gosh, this looks really cool." And then like once I like got into it and I learned it, and I was like, "Oh no!" Like you break it down, you're like, it has all this other stuff though that goes wrong. So it's like, do it if you want. I'm making this anyway, so people have the choice to be able to follow it and try. I run a lot of different games that aren't this. I'm kind of just into running a large variety of games, personally. I would still cite Mother as like one of my main speed games, but I'm still branching off from it a lot right now just because there's not really too many things I feel like doing in this game at the moment. But if you want to look at most of the games I've ran, they are on my info on the page, and then also on my speedrun.com profile. But anyway, a bit after the Nintendo logo pops up, around here, the ape logo, I believe, is what it is. It'll turn into to be continued when you press A or B now. So when it stops moving, basically. And as soon as it finishes printing out, there you go, that's time. So, like I said, if you were able to accomplish this, then I still consider that an impressive feat to be able to just deal with this. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for this guide. Hopefully you were able to follow it and enjoy it.